Gaming Bolt presents 15 gamers that got swatted on their live stream. Several years ago, you would have heard the word SWAT and thought about Sierra's tactical shooter series of the same name. However, the growth of streamers and their associated culture have given rise to swatting. This is a practice wherein some viewer gets a hold of a streamer's address or location and calls the cops with a fake report. In some cases, an actual SWAT team may appear, hence the name. It's a terrible trend and one that's sadly not isolated. Let's take a look at 15 such streamers who faced swatting while streaming. Curtis Hinkie. Better known as FaZe Dirty, Curtis Hinkie was the subject of an ABC News report when he was revealed to have been swatted. Essentially, someone posing as Hinkie claimed to have shot his parents, prompting the police to investigate. Hinkie's parents were alive, of course, and were absolutely clueless as to what was going on. Caleb Hart 42. Who would want to swat Caleb Hart 42, arguably the best Mega Man speedrunner out there? Apparently someone who thought it'd be a funny joke. When the police showed up to investigate Caleb's home, with his mother having answered the door, Caleb took to explaining what he does for a living. It's a lot more awkward and unfunny than it sounds, especially when he had to explain why someone donated money with a username insulting the police. Kutra. The creatures are best known for their association with Rooster Teeth, chiefly the Let's Play brand. However, in 2014, Kutra of the Creatures faced a harrowing SWAT team while playing Counter-Strike Go. Apparently, a shooting was reported at the group's office, and Kutra's reaction, even if he remained calm as the SWAT team, is still terrifying to witness. Things could have gone worse, but Kutra handled it well, despite being handcuffed and interrogated. Nothing. Another Counter-Strike Go player, Colonel Nothing was faced with swatting when someone apparently called in a bomb threat at his home. Nothing was streaming Counter-Strike Go and got up to answer the door, after which police officers with assault rifles were seen on camera looking through his room. As you'd imagine, his friends were not happy about it and expressed disbelief at the whole incident. Jagrar. Much like Caleb Hart 42, Jagrar got swatted and proceeded to calmly explain to the officers in question why this happened. Apparently, someone called the cops about Jagrar's house being robbed, which obviously didn't happen, and as he noted, there was video proof of him being innocent. After this, Jagrar simply came back to his table and continued streaming while police promised to trace the perpetrator's number. Alexander Walks. While we sympathize with Alexander Walks, who had the police called to his place as an act of swatting, he did have 30 grams of marijuana lying around. Since this was 2014 and a fairly big no-no, he was charged for possession. However, given the way the evidence was discovered, the charges were eventually dropped. So, quite frankly, we're not sure what to make of this whole thing, except, again, that swatting is bad. I'm Gore Jess. Jess was busy playing Call of Duty on her stream, and honestly, it's kind of sad how many FPS streamers are targeted when the police showed up at her place. The sound of them telling her to get on the ground can be heard, and one officer even discovers her streaming before shutting off the camera. The weird thing is that Jess takes a while to answer the door, and we don't get a perfectly clear view of it all. Regardless, it's to deny the police communication going on in the background. Frag Jamesy. You thought Minecraft streamers were safe from swatting? Well, think again. Frag Jamesy was swatted and talked about how her block was taped off while police waited, fully armed. Eventually, you can see the police enter the house and discover her setup. Thankfully, the officers were understanding enough, but Frag Jamesy herself sounded terrified while explaining this on stream, including how someone was being held against a wall for questioning. Mhova. Imagine going to the door to pick up a delivery and someone sees the address on your package via stream, before then calling the cops on you. This happened, and surprisingly, Dallas PD were pretty cordial about it, except for the one guy who didn't want to be on camera. She even points to the line of cop cars outside of her apartment complex, which makes this whole thing seem even more surreal. Gross Gore. While most entries on this list take place in America, it's not like the UK isn't free from such asinine incidents. UK League of Legends streamer Gross Gore, or Ali Larson, had the cops arrive after his address was leaked, with the caller in question claiming that Larson killed his whole family. Larson proceeded to explain the situation while still streaming. Again, the police were very sensible in this case, which is a good thing. Ice Poseidon. Police received a report about Ice Poseidon possessing a Glock and threatening to kill himself. They subsequently showed up at his residence, mugged for the camera upon realizing it was some prank, and departed somewhat cheerfully. When the police left, though, Poseidon expressed his annoyance at the whole ordeal. At least he could somehow, even bitterly, laugh it off. Summit 1G. There's no single situation where getting swatted can be described as good, especially when you're streaming to a worldwide audience. But at least it's in your house. For Summit 1G, who was streaming Pokemon Go, he was swatted in the park when police received a report of him and his friend possessing assault rifles. Summit complied with police request and subsequently explained everything, so at least it didn't end badly, but it's still terrible. Koopa Troopa 787. Joshua Peters, or Koopa Troopa 787, is a US Air Force veteran who streams RuneScape. In 2015, he was raided by police when someone posted his address. Peter later discussed that they had pointed a gun at his little brothers, and that someone could have been killed. This is just another reminder among many that real people can be affected by swatting, regardless of how funny someone thinks it may be. Swifty. When you're a popular streamer like Swifty for World of Warcraft, you expect your fair share of trolls. One fine day, Swifty was greeted by a pizza delivery guy. Of course, later the cops showed up with reports of someone who with a knife causing trouble. Swifty would subsequently show the cops on camera and even note how all restaurants within a 10-mile radius has blacklisted him due to all of this. Again, having something like this happen regularly when you're a streamer just plain sucks. Trixie Tricks. When someone threatened to swat Jeff Zito, or Trixie Tricks, while he was streaming Counter-Strike Go on Twitch, Zito probably didn't think they would actually do it. The cops showed up upon hearing of a bomb threat, but one of the officers was fully aware of what was happening. In fact, he was even aware of Twitch and Counter-Strike Go, noting that Zito wasn't winning and just having a civil conversation. All in all, it's a positive sign that at least police are becoming more aware of swatting and how to deal with it. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Bolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.